To call the City of Ojai Parks and Rec Commission for Thursday, July 1st, 2021 to order. Do I bring it? Okay. Shall we start with the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yep.
Sage, would you like, Commissioner in charge, like to lead us in the pledge?
Okay. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's so nice to see everyone and their faces.
In person.
Even though we do the video call, that's really challenging for me with my young ones at home. So it's nice to get back in person. So I apologize for my tardiness. Any public comments submitted or in person?
No public comments.
No public comments, okay. And I believe we have a police report. I think if I read the email correctly, was someone going to be joining us?
Yes, we initially were going to have Sergeant Cadman join us. Unfortunately, an unexpected emergency came up, so he won't be able to join us. So I'll be sharing the report on his behalf.
Okay, great, thanks.
So with that being said, we'll go ahead and begin with the skate park. The skate park, there were two reports of juveniles causing disturbance by shouting obscenities. Additionally, there was a juvenile who appeared to be passed out. He actually was laying down. Deputies made contact and determined he was just waiting for a bus. There was no crime reported. There was 2 reports of vandalism, graffiti, both in estimated damages under $400. Additionally, there was a juvenile male shouting obscenities at an adult female. Adult male then battered the juvenile. Deputies contacted and arrested the adult male. In addition to that, there were 2 adult males who were drinking at the park. Deputies made contact and arrested both subjects. Over at Libby Park, there was a male transient sleeping on the tennis courts. Deputies contacted that individual and he left. There was a female reported who was screaming at the park. Deputies contacted that individual and it was determined that no crime could be established. In addition to that, there was a suspicious vehicle parked over at the lower Libby tennis parking lot. Deputies made contact with that subject, and no crime was established, but the subject did leave the area there. Additionally, deputies contacted a female in the park who was inappropriately dressed. That subject was determined to be gravely disabled and placed on mental hold. In addition to that, there was also 3 reports of vandalism, all under $400. And lastly, there's a suspicious subject at the gazebo. That subject was contacted, but no crime could be established. Over at Zero Zodi Park, there's a suspicious subject. That subject was contacted, but no crime could be established. One of the things that you'll see here on your report is that deputies are making additional rounds. That's both foot and bike patrols. Additionally, I was able to speak with Chief Rivera in reference to deputies doing reports at the skate park, and he said that he was going to go ahead and encourage the deputies to go ahead and do that. So that's
great.
something
Thank you.
that they're going to go ahead and do. In addition to that, from the last meeting, I also contacted the police department about the We Tip crime stickers, and we're going to go ahead and put one up. The sign that we had up was pretty faded out, so we got a new sign, and we're going to go ahead and put the sticker on there as well.
Great.
So that's going to be pretty much it for the police report here.
Now, I didn't compare with May's report. Did you by chance do a comparison to the number of calls?
I didn't know. I
I think
apologize.
that's on our agenda later to talk about format, so that might be something to add, just so we can kind of keep some historical data. At some point, maybe we can do a graph of calls for service there to see if they're escalating or de-escalating.
Yeah,
based
yeah,
on
we
our
could definitely
efforts.
go
That'd
ahead
be
and-
kind of nice. I'm a visual person, so I like to
Yeah,
see the.
as am I.
I'd like to see that. It's nice to have the reports, and I like having the dates and the type of incident. So please pass on to the chief my thanks for that. I think this is really helpful data so that we know what's going on at the parks.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing I'll go ahead and note, and it almost slipped my mind, but I also was speaking about Chief Herrera about the VIPs, the volunteers and police, and the sheriff's office is utilizing them once again. They are specifically utilizing for special events right now, but we anticipate that they could become available in the near future to go ahead and keep an eye on the Levy Bowl and the skate park as well.
And sometimes I find that those programs are dormant until there's a need. So the fact that he knows that we are interested, perhaps he can solicit some of the volunteers to step up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure with the 4th of July parade upon us, that volunteering will start, people will get more into the groove of, like myself, being in person and present,
Yeah.
I think that'll only help us strengthen that type of a program.
Yeah, just want to say thank you also. I think this is really helpful to kind of
Yeah.
see the list of everything, so.
Yeah, absolutely. We can definitely go ahead and continue. We'll discuss a little bit more once we get to that agenda item, but yeah, this will be very easy to go ahead and produce moving forward, and we'll make sure to include it in there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and thank you. And number 5, Public Works Report. Thank you for coming in person. It's Casada, is that correct? Sure. Is that?
Alma.
Alma? Alma's fine. Okay, welcome, and thanks for joining us. I know we spoke briefly on the phone, so it's nice to put a voice with a face.
Okay, so a few things happening. First and foremost is the 4th of July parade coming up this weekend. Everybody's excited about it as things start reopening, so it's kind of nice to have a parade. Kind of nice to have a real parade. And so that you can, if you've been out there on Ojai Street, you can see all the streets lined with chairs. So I think it's going to be a pretty good event. It also coincides with another event that Public Works is having. It's the inaugural ride of our Downtown Trolley Express, which is free of charge. Anybody can ride the downtown trolley loop free of charge.
What day is that?
It starts right after the parade, and
Oh.
it goes from the east end of town to the Ojai Valley Inn, and it just makes that continuous loop from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Free of charge.
How frequently?
I'm sorry?
How frequently does it run?
It takes about a half hour to do the entire loop, but distance from stop to stop, there's 10 stops on the south side of the street, another 10 on the north side.
Okay,
20
so,
stops
and
total.
is there one trolley that's just kind of doing the loop?
For now, it's just one trolley. It's our pilot program.
Okay,
If it goes well, we'll revisit whether we need to add more.
got
For
it.
now,
Is
it's
this
just-
the electric trolley?
No.
Oh, not yet.
No, it's
Okay.
just a regular trolley. We don't have electric trolleys yet.
It's coming though, right? Isn't there? think
We're
there's-
looking into it. It's part of our capital improvement plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
but
said the name was called Trolley Express?
Downtown trolley
Downtown.
is what it's called. And we have flyers at City Hall that
And-
show the map.
Is the no fare charge, is that just for that day, or what's the intent of the
It is for the entire
program?
time that it is in a pilot program.
Okay.
And when the pilot ends, we'll revisit. If it's popular, we'll look into it. It's going to go back to city council, and we'll see whether it will remain free of charge or not.
So the
It's something
entire
we-
pilot is free?
Yes,
And how long is the program?
for 4 months.
Wow, that's
And is
really
this the
great.
city sponsoring it, or at first I saw an agenda item that they were
Partially
looking
sponsored
to?
by the city and partially sponsored by the hotels in
Okay.
the city.
Oh, great. And that's only on Saturdays?
Only on Saturdays, correct.
Nice.
That's great.
We're excited about it. I think it's going to be a great program. And hopefully a lot of people are encouraged to ride it.
I hope you can capture some data along the way, if possible. If you could, I don't know, have a
Invite
place
your
where people could just do a tiny little survey of who they are and where they're from.
Ooh.
You know, like something where they just click on I don't know, somehow something really quick and easy. I'm not a technology person, but you know how sometimes you go
Yeah.
places and if you do the little square, you can just give them a tiny bit of feedback.
Do like a QR, do
Yeah,
like a little
something-
QR
yeah,
code.
and just incentivize, help us support the program or understand, because I think it'd be nice to have some data about all of who's writing in that period of time.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm sure the hotels would appreciate it also, just to know if it's their guests that are utilizing it primarily and how they're participation is successful.
That's actually a good point. I think it'll be interesting to see if it's mainly local residents using it or out-of-towners.
Which I think would be great to know too, that many people locally are able to use it, yeah. Yeah, thank you. I think that's going to be
You
interesting.
could actually do a really inexpensive flyer with the QR code on one side and maybe the trolley route, because if they are from out of the area staying at hotels, on the East End, they may not realize what there is to do, almost like the shopping map.
I was going to say, I think there is a map too.
Correct, yeah, we have some,
Kinda shrink
sorry,
it down.
sorry. to
Yeah,
just-
the
yeah.
flyers have
Thunder.
been made and
Okay.
they've been
Okay.
distributed to the hotels.
Oh, great.
Perfect.
Of course.
And as I said, we also have them we should have them at the lobby in City Hall.
Nice.
Mhm. And then we have some at rec as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, you probably weren't looking for that many ideas, but.
That's the
It's
first time
totally
hearing
fine.
about it, so that's nice, great.
Yeah. Other events that are, not so much events, but other things that have happened, notable things. At Libby Park, we recently had the turf hill remodeled and recovered with artificial turf. So I was out there earlier today and there's a lot of cardboard around there, so you can see that now. I'm just happy to see it's being used. Events that are happening at Libby Park, we had, and these already passed, we had the Ventura County Potters Guild, Ojai Chamber Chess Club, Ojai Chamber Mini Singing Recital, and coming up we have the Ojai Chamber First Friday event, which I believe is a music event.
That is correct, yes.
And then at Sarzati Park, we're moving the picnic tables back into the number 2 area. At Clough Vista, we also have another event coming up this weekend. No, that's tomorrow, right? July 2nd. We have the OV Green Coalition Art class coming up on that. And then
I'm sorry, Green Coalition Art?
Mhm. So the Green, and if I may,
the
Alma.
Ojai
Yeah.
Valley Green.
Yeah, the Ojai Valley Green Coalition, they're doing an educational program for kids to engage kids, if memory serves me right, 8 to 13, how to draw from observing the natural world. Yeah.
Oh,
Are
interesting.
we adding that to our page at the rec?
We don't have it up, but we could definitely go ahead and do it.
I think
yeah.
that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Luis covered vandalism in the police report, but there was one other incident of graffiti inside the men's bathroom stall the weekend of June 26th. That wasn't on there, but I'm pretty sure it's going to come up on your next report.
Yeah. And if I may, we actually have a picture of the turf over at Turf Hill that was refinished, so I could share that with y'all.
Oh, nice.
Let me go ahead and see here.
Now, can we tell from your system if someone is joined our Zoom remotely?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it'll alert, no
Yeah.
luck on
No-
that.
nobody has
Okay.
joined us.
Just checking.
So this is the turf hill that has been resurfaced, and maybe Alma, you can share a little bit more. But the actual hill itself has been, the top of it has been flattened, and
And the sides were reshaped also.
Mhm.
It's a little bit different than what was there before. And it's actually the same shape as what is at the Santa Barbara Zoo, but on a much smaller scale. But it is identical. And it was the same vendor that the Santa Barbara Zoo used. We were able to contract with that vendor to get similar results as what Santa Barbara Zoo has, but again, smaller scale.
yeah.
Do we have any information on how long has Santa Barbara's been in place, the longevity of that, or?
I don't have that information. I can look into
I
it.
was just curious what the longevity was forecasted to be.
Yeah, I'd have to look into that. I'm not sure.
Very nice.
Go ahead and stop that screen share. Perfect. And then in addition, over at Libby Park, starting on the 7th, we're going to start the summer concerts at Libby Bowl. So that's going to be through the Rotary West. And so they're going to be every Wednesday through August 11th. They're going to be from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., if memory serves me right. And again, that's going to be every single Wednesday.
Or how many weeks?
Starting July 7th through August 11th.
I love those. Those are really
Yeah.
nice to go. Right when it gets nice and hot.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else on the Public Works report?
That's all I have for now.
Any follow-up on the shade sales that we had that public comment submitted on? And I know I had forwarded that to you. Did you have any traction
So
on that?
because I recently acquired Greg's duties, I'm still coming up to speed on it.
Mhm.
It is gonna take me a little time, but I am looking into it.
Okay,
And
great.
I've been, yeah, so I'm looking into the shade cloth. I did notice that it is in our capital improvement plan as part to get that done.
Okay,
And then the other thing that I'm working on, Luis, with is the Prop 68 grant for the multi-use
Multi-use sport court.
Yeah.
multi-use sport courts for Sarsati Park.
And we're talking about the shade structure for the skate park?
there was a public comment submitted. I sense that it was it a youth? Or I think it might have been a youth that brought a concern and a suggestion for how, and I even think some product was meeting before last.
But it's skate
Oh,
park.
I think you might have been gone that meeting.
It was the skate
Yeah, it
park,
was
though.
skate
Yeah.
park.
Yeah, and then it's been on the radar for a while. I know that project before the previous Public Works Director had left, had worked on that. We'd seen some,
I think there was a meeting on the books and we couldn't quite figure out who was supposed to be there or what, so it kind of
Got
just came
pushed,
to light
yeah.
that we needed to maybe take a look at what was going on there. So maybe we can put that on the agenda for an update for next month. That
Sure.
would be
That's
helpful.
a great idea.
Sure.
Just so, I'm not sure if there was any follow-up with I mean, we don't really get a lot of public comments, so I like to at least follow up with them and let them know that we, are taking steps to address his concern and
Yeah,
welcome his
absolutely.
input and
Yeah,
suggestions.
if I'm not mistaken, we did make contact with that resident, but I'll make sure to go ahead and follow up once again. Never hurts to over communicate, right?
Thank you.
Is that for the shade cloth?
Yeah,
Oh,
shade
okay.
structure.
So I did actually go out there with the Public Works crew
Mhm.
to see where to look at possibilities of how we can anchor that shade cloth. It's doable, we just have to relocate some of the security cameras. Because once the shade cloth goes up.
Oh, it'll
it's
obstruct.
It's gonna obstruct the security cameras, so
Okay.
those will have to be relocated. So.
And I think we kind of talked about relocating some of the angles anyways, right? Just
Mhm.
based on vandalism
Mhm.
and things, how we could maybe improve visibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great, thank you. And do we have a city council liaison report? Did anybody submit anything?
Not this time around, no.
who was it this month?
Councilmember Souza Francina.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Then we'll go to number 7, consent items. Has everybody had a chance to review last month's minutes?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 3rd, 2021 meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Commissioner Firestone,
Aye.
Chair Taylor,
Aye,
and Commissioner Intner.
Aye.
Motion passes.
thank you.
Mhm.
Presentation, action, and discussion items. So we have the police report as item A. Recommendation that the commission discuss formalizing the monthly police report. So just looking it over.
Sure.
I like the layout. I think it's
Mhm.
great that we can separate the different park locations that we know are somewhat of an issue that we're
Mhm.
kind of keeping an eye on. My only input would be that we could have total calls at
Okay.
maybe at the bottom of each subcategory.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
total calls in general.
Okay.
And then I'd like to see some data carried over, prior month, and
Like
then
three,
maybe.
like 3 months?
I think 3 months is good, and then at the end of the year, we can have that on, like, the December agenda for calls for service for the calendar year or something
Okay,
like that.
so the information that we're going to bring over from prior months, would you like just the total number of calls that the police department has received for those locations?
I think it'd be nice to know like total calls,
Mhm.
when there was extra patrol,
Okay.
basically like telling the different
Different
types
categories.
of things that show up on
Okay.
on here, so we know kind of
Yeah.
how frequently our.
Okay.
Would it be easier to do because you're doing the administrative report based
Mhm.
on what's submitted,
Mhm.
would it be easier for you instead of, I know you have it in date order, but
Mhm.
to us, the date isn't probably as relevant as the category and
Yeah.
the number of calls, so maybe putting it in more in a spreadsheet format that sorts by type of call, like,
Type of calls? Okay.
I don't know, it's just what would be easiest for you? How do you?
Well, the reason why I asked what type of data you'd like to go ahead and see from prior months is because I could see the report being pretty extensive, pretty quick, possibly
Oh, I
being.
think just the
yeah.
totals from the month prior
Okay.
carried over. So like if we started it, this month having,
Mhm.
we had, 15 calls for service total
Mhm.
at the skate park. And then we can always look at the calculations above if we want to know further breakdown of of those 15 calls. And then as we kind of start keeping this data, in a year from now, we'll be
Mhm.
able to see if our efforts to add extra patrol or, courtesy
Yeah.
report writing, if that's impacting those numbers in a positive way.
Okay, yeah.
How would you feel if it was a table at the bottom of each section for each park that gave,
Yeah, just like an
Like-
Excel type table.
yeah, just like a small one to break it down so it's not, I actually don't mind it in order of dates because it's
Right.
kind of interesting to see if we're having clusters at certain times or if certain things are happening in patterns.
On the weekends or
Yeah,
summers.
so we
Okay.
can have a sense, but if you had I think like a table at the bottom by month with, vandalism, blah, 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 and then just total calls, so the current month and then the past 3 for numbers and something like that.
Yeah, that would.
I don't think that would get
be a
too
pretty good
big.
idea.
Maybe what we might do is keep this as an agenda item for
Mhm.
next month, and can you bring us some
Yeah, I'll
different
bring-
reports?
yeah.
I think this information is incredibly valuable to
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
the city.
Yeah, what I'll go ahead and do is I'll do it in like 2 or 3 different types of formats, and then allow you guys to choose, see what's
Good.
best.
And I
Yeah.
think the notes are great.
I like this format. Like Sage said, it's nice to just see like
Mhm.
everything, and then if we added a table or a table for each park that just tallies a few different things, that would be helpful. I think also if there was so we've got the 3 parks here:
Mhm.
Skate Park, Libby Park, Shahzadi Park. If there was like another section for kind of other.
That's a
Mhm.
good idea.
Because I don't know, does this mean like nothing happened at Clough Vista or like the
The community
City Hall
garden.
campus
Mhm.
and things
Oh,
like
right,
that?
other parks,
Yeah.
okay.
It'd just be nice to know like if anything else is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So from prior reports, whenever there's calls for service, like at the community demonstration garden, they'll go ahead and add it. So for this time around, to my knowledge, there wasn't anything
Okay.
down here, but that's a good idea. We'll go ahead and put other down there, and we'll make sure to go ahead and know, like you said, demonstration garden or Clough Vista.
And like the park and ride, or the entry park,
Rotary Park.
Rotary Park, sorry.
Mhm.
I was having a hard time getting there.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's a big.
Oh, where the
Yeah.
playground is?
No, Rotary Park right at the entrance to Ojai.
Oh, yeah,
That's-
by
It
Vaughn.
It is a
Big horse.
park, it's a different
I'm
type
sorry,
of park,
yeah.
but,
Yeah.
I mean,
Kind
if
of
we're
a
gonna,
pass-through park.
yeah.
Yeah. But this is great. I mean,
Yeah.
even just having this, if we had this every month and we and the public could kind of flip through it easily and see.
I agree. Great,
You know.
great job, Luis. Very nice.
Thank you.
Well, it's not all my credit, it's police as well.
Thank you, Chief.
Kudos to them.
If you're listening tonight. Okay, anything else on the input for the format?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay. And Luis, can we have that on discussion for next,
Mhm.
please?
Mhm.
Okay, item B, multipurpose sport courts, recommendation that the commission receive an update on the construction of the multipurpose sport courts.
Perfect. And so during the last meeting, if memory serves me right, we wanted to receive an update on the construction of the multipurpose sports courts. So during the May 27th meeting, the Public Works Director indicated that the project was once again underway. Construction is anticipated to begin in October or November of 2021. As Alma mentioned earlier, we're actually working on the application for Proposition 68 to help with funding. So the project is, as mentioned, it is scheduled to go ahead and move forward on those dates.
And will that affect any of the scheduled Is it softball and soccer that time of year, or what is being played? What?
No, there's not going to be, there isn't any anticipation and disruption of the different sports that are going on. Once we actually get to the recreation update, I'll share a little bit on what we're doing with softball, but
Okay.
yeah, no.
I know they had a council that came up again to swing back to removing the trash enclosure, because that's been an ongoing discussion that's fallen off the radar quite a few times. And I know that there was discussion there too of making sure that that's part of this project. Can you give us an update on where that is?
I don't have an update right offhand that I could share. Alma, do you happen to have information on the trash enclosure by chance?
No, and we talked to, Luis and I talked about that when we met, because it's not clear to me if we're keeping it as part of the master plan or if it's just being removed.
It was discussed to be removed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and actually,
The existing one.
Or
no,
just-
it isn't actually a trash enclosure anymore. They use it for various storage items sometimes. It's kind of extraneous, and it blocks.
The
the-
turn, right?
As you go in, it's just right there, and at this point, it doesn't serve a purpose as a trash enclosure, because they rebuilt on the opposite side that fully services everything, as far as I know. Ryan, do you have?
Yeah, this had come up with Mr. Grant. We had asked about kind of actually doing that sooner than anything else when we did the walkthroughs with some of the city council members a few years ago when we were working on the plan. And at that time, he had a concern that we're tearing down something that's like functional, but we weren't actually using it. He just kind of didn't want to tear it down if was it going to have to be rebuilt at some other time. So I think we just need some confirmation that it's not being used. We don't need it.
There's no
and
trash
then-
cans in it.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
The last time it came up, and the reason that we brought it up when we did before was before paving. It seemed the very logical time to remove it before we paved that lot. And it sounded like it was going to get done, and then it just disappeared. So, but I was watching a council meeting, and I know it came up again at council. I'm not sure what the decision was, but I think it was sent back to staff to figure out.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'll go ahead and do is for our next meeting, I'll go ahead and put that on the agenda so I can go ahead and share an update on
Okay.
where we're at with that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Very exciting.
Okay.
Sorry, just one question on the multi-sport court for Alma. I don't know, is there kind of anything in the transition, from Greg to you that kind of comes into play with the multi-sport court, or is everything been designed and it's just a matter of when it starts?
There's a preliminary design for the courts, and I need to reach out to the engineering design firm that's doing it to find out what percentage of completion is there and what they need on our end to move it along.
Okay, and is that something then that you would be working on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And one last comment for me. If there was a question of whether that was in the master plan or not, it is not, because if you look at the master plan for the park, in that area there is the exercise stations. There's no longer a road, and it's the pathways go through there on that side over that way.
But it shows a trash area there.
Mm-hmm.
But it points to the trash area being on the left. That isn't where it is now.
Right.
That would be
It would
a
just
new
be
trash
rebuilt.
area that they're pointing out. And so there was never is that the existing point where it is?
It's a little
That
bit,
shows on the right.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's showing on the left. It's not there. Well, maybe there's two, when it says trash area, I think there's two small, more like trash cans, not
Right.
for a 3-yard dumpster.
Yeah.
But-
So
So
I think that's what that is, right? That's really tiny.
I think that is the current one, because to the right of that is the
the house.
the house.
House.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, so it's right there. Yeah. we have the
Okay.
two. Yeah, we'll definitely have an update for you during the next
Well,
meeting.
I can tell you the intent and discussion here was not to have it there,
right.
but if that's helpful.
Not
Because
to
it is
have it
noted, the
at
trash
all,
enclosures.
At all.
like none. We-
Well, trash cans are one thing, but the trash enclosure
Yeah.
was meant to be removed ultimately.
And it is referenced differently. It says trash enclosure on the far left. And then the other one just says trash area. And
Yeah, I did
feel
notice
like
that.
Trash area maybe just means
The-
two trash
yeah,
cans,
the
like those
trash cans.
covered ones that
Yeah.
are kind of, like we have in the arcade type of trash
Mhm.
cans. Perhaps, I'm not sure.
Yeah, as mentioned, I could definitely go ahead and look a little bit more into it, and
Okay.
I'll share an update during the next meeting.
Yeah, I think, I mean, in looking at the kind of the full master plan, it's probably not as big a deal because there isn't parking going in there, but for the time being, you know, that's the big pinch point in that
Yeah.
parking
In the
area.
driveway there.
Great.
That's true.
Okay,
Get a trash
anything else
truck
on
in.
the multi-purpose sports courts?
No, super excited. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, item C, the August 5th regular meeting for the Parks and Recreation Commission, canceling it, or because in light of the joint meeting with the city council on August 10th.
Yeah. And one of the things I will go ahead and note in reference to the joint meeting, so that is a tentative date for a meeting. The city is looking to go ahead and get the joint meetings going once again. So that date is tentative as of right now, but it is on the books for a joint meeting with the Parks and Rec Commission. If the commission wishes, I recently learned that, or if it wishes, we can recommend to see if we could go ahead and push it back a little bit. If that's something that we think is best.
Get
Yeah.
a new date instead of
Mhm.
August.
Well, because typically we've
I- I
prepared a
said-
presentation. and
Incredibly,
we've done
I'm not
some-
prepared for that
Yeah,
meeting.
no.
I wasn't aware of that.
This
until
is the
just
first,
read it,
I think this is
so-
the first the commission's heard of that date.
Yeah.
I think that my input would be that we keep our meeting as
Well-
planned and use that to plan for the,
I will share that I cannot be here that day.
okay,
I might be able to, I'll be in the car, I might remotely be able to,
Zoom. Well, we
maybe,
can't do
I'm
it
not
without
sure.
you, so.
I know, that's the problem right now, is there's just three of us.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to go ahead and note as well is that the city is planning a centennial event that day. So August 5th is the city's 100-year anniversary. And so the city is planning a family event. We're just in the planning stages right now. But one of the things that we're looking to do is do an event over at Zero Zodi Park, have food trucks, car show, some family activities. And so that, as of right now, again, it's just in planning stages, is going to be scheduled from 4 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And so that's in celebration of the centennial.
How do you guys
Okay, well,
feel?
and-
Do you want to have a meeting a different time in August?
I think that is it possible to request a later date so that we can properly prepare our report? For
Yeah,
the
absolutely. Yeah,
joint?
absolutely. If the
I think
commission,
that's probably the best.
yeah, if the
we-
commission wishes to go ahead and cancel its meeting and then hold a special meeting at a different
Yeah, we
time,
can-
that's something that we could definitely
Since there's
do.
only three of us to
Yeah.
plan for.
I'm-
Yeah, that sounds fine. And I mean, it could be just to plan for the
Just for
joint
the
meeting,
report.
I
Mhm.
think.
We could do it at a different time, or, yeah.
Whatever, I'm flexible,
Yeah.
so it just
Yeah.
based on staff's.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'll go ahead and do is I was going to look at the schedule.
Yeah, the schedule for this
Unfortunately,
room is
our city's
quite
website is
busy.
currently down, so I can't look at the
Okay.
schedule, but we do have other commissions meetings going on. So what I'll go ahead and do right after this meeting is I'll look at our schedule to see what's going on, and I'll propose some dates and
And
we'll
if
go from there.
it becomes constrained by, because this room is booked most of the time,
Mhm.
are you guys flexible to do it at a different time of the day so that we could just pick a day that works for us?
Yeah, I think if we do it like earlier in the day, I think that would,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's
because I'm
fine.
flexible to do that.
I think probably, I mean, Zoom is probably also an option while we can, right?
Either way.
Either way works
Yeah.
for me, whatever
Yeah, I'm
works.
flexible.
So,
I'll-
so as of now, for the record, we'll cancel the August 5th, 2021 meeting and look to reschedule a special meeting.
Mhm.
And we'll be sure to include some planning time for the commission to be able to have that meeting
joint meeting.
jointly with the
Yeah.
council. Okay,
We could even, I mean, depending on how you guys feel, we could do just a planning meeting for the,
separate.
just that, like a quick,
Does the planning meeting have to be a public meeting?
We still would have to
I mean, we
agendize and-
Advertise it, but.
correct, yes. If there is a quorum, then yeah, we
Yeah,
would have to
But
go
we
ahead
could do
and
that via
adjust.
Zoom. We could.
However
could
we like to do
Advertise a
it.
special meeting and do it
Whatever.
via Zoom if the room wasn't available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, so traditionally, we spend like we have like at least two meetings where we
for planning.
Yeah.
plan material and then review like draft material. So that would
I
be.
think it was frequently in October.
Right. So that would mean like August and September, we would be getting ready for the meeting, and so
Mhm.
hopefully in October would be good timing for.
Yeah, I know this time is a little bit strange. It's a little bit different because we're, coming out of, COVID. But
Pandemic and all.
yeah.
Just a little bit pandemic.
So, it was something that it has been on our radar, but we weren't sure if we were going to be able to move forward, based off the different restrictions. But it's something that we are looking to go ahead and implement once again. But I'll definitely go ahead and share that the commission wishes to go ahead and postpone that date to later in the year.
Mhm.
Unless they want to just get together and have an informal.
That is
that's-
really the other option.
Yeah, I hate to pass up an opportunity to have face-to-face time with the council. So
Right.
that might, maybe in light of the situation with COVID, we change our norm, right? I mean,
Mhm.
like everything else, and we have
Yeah.
more of a face-to-face, like more of an open.
Maybe we just put together a brainstorm, we put together a priority list and some discussion points, and then we could just have a meeting without a big presentation.
Yeah,
I'm
think
fine with that.
I think that sounds great. I would like to kind of plan the
Some
discussion
format,
points.
okay.
Yes,
Um,
we need that still.
Because I think kind of this is a big opportunity for our commission specifically to meet with the council because we don't get a lot of attention, so.
Yeah.
Well, Louise, can you secure that? Can you see if that date is available and what we're doing? And then we can always have a special meeting, even if it's via Zoom, with the
Mhm.
three of us even to set an agenda,
Yeah.
even if it's informal. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely go ahead and look at to make sure when the date is, and then we'll go ahead
So
and
we
share
would,
that.
if it pushed to September, that would be very workable.
If it was informal, I don't know about.
Yeah. We might not have as many pictures
Yeah.
and a PowerPoint, but
Louise, do you have access to last year's? Can you send out just so we can all refresh on what was the format that we used and what we
Yeah,
discussed?
absolutely. I'll
Have that.
definitely go ahead and do that.
okay,
Um,
thank you.
Our city's website is currently down, so I can't
Yeah, when you-
access it. But
yeah.
as soon as I can, I'll definitely make sure to share it.
Yeah, I think actually, given that we have a limited time for these meetings, maybe not having the presentation could be helpful.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
we spend time on
More time for
pictures and going
discussion,
over what
yes.
happened in the last year. It's like, well, we don't need pictures of that this
Yeah,
year, so
for sure.
could have more time for discussion.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, I
guarantee.
felt she did a little last year with the discussion, because we had a really long presentation and not a lot of question answer
Yeah.
FaceTime, so.
And we can't always steer the conversation, so if we have more time for conversation, there'll be more time for different
Yeah.
avenues of discussion.
Okay.
I think that's good. So I think what will be coming your way, probably, if it's like any other year, is a request for documents and various other things we want to talk about. And so-
Yeah, absolutely. I'm more happy to go ahead and share that.
Great. Okay, informational items, recreation report. I know you've kind of already given us an update, but
Sure.
rest of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Monday, June 14th, we actually did a soft opening of the main office, and that was actually pretty successful. And so last week, on the 21st, we reopened the Jack Boyd Center, which included the game room, the multipurpose room, as well as the game room and the gymnasium. It was really neat to see people back in the game room. We had little kids in there playing. They were playing foosball. They were playing pool, and then we actually had a group of seniors come in and start playing ping pong and stuff. So it was really neat to hear the laughter. Additionally, we held our first indoor camp on June 21st. That was a Lego camp. We had 30 participants. Again, it was really nice to hear the laughter throughout the building. We also moved our adult strength, Tai Chi, and Aikido classes indoor. This week and next, we're offering surf camp. We also started the new gymnastics session indoors for ages 7 and older. Currently, we have 57 participants in the program. Staff has also reached out to the following contractors who indicated that they're interested in starting programming once again. So that's going to be fencing, Mandarin Chinese, music, social skills, and a theater class. In addition to that, we are working on a horseback riding class, dance cardio class, and we anticipate to bring softball back mid to late August. So we're in the planning stages of that as well.
That's adult softball?
Adult softball, that is correct. As far as facilities, we still have outdoor rentals. We have 7 outdoor rentals, so those seem to be going pretty well. And as mentioned a little bit earlier, we are planning for a centennial celebration. Again, that's going to be Thursday, August 5th. Right now, the time is anticipated to be from 4 to 7:30. And again, we're going to be doing this over at Zero Zodi Park, be doing some family events, concert, car show, and some food trucks. And I'll definitely make sure to share some more information once we have everything all locked in.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, any commissioner reports or comments to share? Number 10?
I do. On the grants committee, I met with Luis, and Luis has identified a couple sources of grants, and he's asked that, just kind of refresher for everyone, he's asked that we review available grants and kind of identify which ones would be good for the city to respond to. So he pointed out a couple of websites, the California State Parks Department website and the California Parks and Recreation Society website, which both list grant opportunities. So I'll be going through those with Sage, who's also on the committee. It sounds like we should be checking those periodically, like every month or two, because new things come up. Also, we can kind of compare those against the CIP to see kind of which grants align with things that we are looking to do, basically, as well as are eligible for. So we're getting started on that. I think if there are other sources of grants or leads for grants, that would be good to know. I know Commissioner Taylor, you had mentioned some expertise in that. So if you have recommendations for us,
I'll have to
anywhere to look, please let us know.
I think that we had asked for, usually there's memberships involved, so different associations, parks and rec associations have those types of grants available. And I thought that we had had a discussion on if the city had a username type of.
Correct, yes. We do have, are a member of Southern California Municipal Athletic Federation, and that's part of what Commissioner Firestone, one of the grants he was mentioning. So they actually have 6 grants remaining for a specific program. We actually have a scheduled call next week, and so they're going to be telling us a little bit more about that grant. They actually have 6 remaining for the fiscal year 2021, and they're going to be starting their grant process for 2022. So we came in right at a perfect time. So hopefully,
timing is really important with grants.
Yeah. So hopefully, we'll be eligible for one of those grants.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Good job.
I just have one comment. Libby Under the Lights, I know it's before your time, was a wonderful program that they did over at Libby Park a couple of times a year. Did you attend?
Remember that?
I think the police department would bring in lights for us and set it up all around Libby Park, and we would have a food vendor, and they did it in the winter and various different times, and the community loved it. It started when the playground first got finished as kind of a celebration to come out and experience it, and the kids love it, and there's balloons.
Involved or no?
I think it was mostly the city, and recreation would bring out and make balloons and do different things, and there was a vendor who would sell a little bit of food, and anyway, it was really well received, and we've talked about bringing it back and never quite gotten there, but I think it's something we should put back on the list of things to try and accomplish, and the summer is a lovely time to do it. We haven't ever done it at the same time as the band concert, but we had talked about that before, the Wednesday night.
That'd be kinda
Because
nice
if you
to
can get the
kind of
lights
expand
on,
the area.
yeah, and then the kids can play on the playground, and they love playing on the playground at night,
Yeah.
so.
One issue with that might be noise, because of the generators for the lights
That's
are
true.
fairly noisy.
Mm-hmm.
But, if there was one after the other. Before,
Yes, like you
maybe.
could light up the playground immediately after the band that might be, people might really enjoy that.
Well, it
And then
doesn't-
they could
and it
see as
doesn't
they
get dark
leave.
Till,
Like 9,
Yeah.
8:30.
Yeah,
times
8:30,
for
9.
the concert goes till 9, so
Yeah,
yeah.
it would
we're
only
right
be
on
for
the
about an
cusp.
hour, but
Yeah.
I mean, in the summer,
I bet
if
you
we're
if you,
talking lights.
those
it's-
lights are really bright.
Mhm.
I bet you if you put them strategically, off to the sides that it wouldn't I don't know, or maybe they have a way of buffering the generator noise.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but it's worth
Yeah, that'd
thinking
be great.
about.
Okay.
And even if it's not the same night as they had music come in some of those nights
Mhm.
for the Libby Under the Lights. They had, I don't know, wasn't as close to the organization, but
Do you recall around what time this happened? So
we
just
did it
gives
in
me a little-
winter. I think we did one in November.
Of last year? Or
It's been a couple of
It's
years.
been a
We've
couple of
talked
years?
about it. We've brought it up a couple of times, and it just hasn't quite gotten there. But
Mhm.
it was a partnership with the police department.
Right.
Okay,
Roughly
I'll
starting
look
at-
into it and see if I can get a little bit more information and see
Yeah.
if,
I think it started around dusk.
Yes.
okay.
So in the
So
summer,
it
that's
had to
pretty
have been in
late,
the
but-
winter then, or later.
Fall
I mean,
and winter,
you
maybe.
wouldn't have
Yeah.
started it at
Right.
8:30 or not, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's probably in the fall.
I think it was, it must have been fall and winter.
Yeah, after the time change.
So you said it was Libby Under the Lights?
Yeah.
Libby Under the Lights. That's a really neat name.
It was so much fun too. I think we should bring it back.
I agree. That's great.
Sounds great. Okay, I have no comments to share. Anything else, commissioners?
No,
Yep.
thank you.
Okay, future agenda items.
I think we don't need it for now. I think we can keep the list the same and then.
And add the police report
Mhm.
format.
Mhm.
Now, the meeting before, we had talked about the master plan for the paving and were they gonna, was it gonna give us some information on that? Or
Yeah.
We were.
I remember there was some
I
discussion.
think changes happened and
Yeah,
so
so-
here we
yeah,
are.
so some
Might need
changes
a little more
happened,
time.
yeah.
Okay.
But yes, I think it is, we got the plan, which is great, but we were looking for a presentation to
Got it.
kind of walk us through it all.
Okay, great. Anything else to add? Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay, well, I will adjourn the meeting at 7:03.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.